Chapter 2181, Don't be agitated. If Jiao Nan couldn't make it, and 1 or 2 children couldn't make it as well, her life in the future would really be easier. Seriously, the country was advocating for sound child rearing now. How expensive was it to raise a child? It was good for her to give birth to Feng Feng alone. Was Jiao Nan a sow? She had given birth to triplets at once. Oh! The nurse whom Jiao Zijin grabbed was initially shocked. Then, she calmed down quickly. The triplets were born safely. They are a little lighter, but they are healthy. As long as you take care of them more carefully in the future, they would grow like ordinary children. Upon hearing the nurse's words, Jiao Zijin nearly couldn't help but pull her face down. She didn't understand it. Jiao Nan was close to 40 years old and had given birth to triplets. How could these 3 children still be alive? The triplets would grow as healthy as ordinary children as long as the adults took care of them more carefully in the future? Then, what if they weren't careful enough? If something happened to one of the triplets, wouldn't it be the responsibility of the person who was taking care of the triplets? Upon thinking that she was going to take over Jiao Nan's position, marry Zai Sheng, and become the stepmother of these 3 children, Jiao Zijin felt depressed. How much effort did she have to put into taking care of the triplets in the future? Was it considered careful only if she treated the triplets as her ancestors? If anything happened to them, she would even be the first person to take the rap. No, she still had to consider this situation carefully. She must tell Jiao Nan that the triplets weren't born as healthy as Feng Feng. If anything happened to one of the triplets in the future, she couldn't be blamed. She had to take care of 3 children alone. If she really did that, she might not even be able to raise a child up well. On the contrary, if she focused all her attention on one child, then she would definitely be able to raise this child well. Instead of risking all 3 children at once, she might as well just take good care of one of them. Of course, she wouldn't choose on behalf of Jiao Nan. They were Jiao Nan's children. She would take care of the child whom Jiao Nan chose. Yes, they would just do this. Giving up 2 to take care of 1 was better than losing all 3. Jiao Nan would understand this. How about my sister? She had already thought about how to take care of the triplets. Jiao Zijin was now concerned about Jiao Nan. If possible, Jiao Zijin wanted to ask more bluntly, how long more does Jiao Nan have to live? When will she die? The nurse hesitated. After the delivery of the children yesterday, she had knocked off work. As such, she didn't know about the latest situation of the mother. Not very good, but don't feel too negative. There are still a few hours left. She should be awake now. It was a pity that Jiao Zijin didn't wait for the nurse to finish her words. She took off once she heard that Jiao Nan only had a few hours left. Jiao Zijin was extremely agitated. Jiao Nan was going to die. Jiao Nan was finally going to die. After Jiao Nan died, she could marry Zai Sheng and become the chief's wife. Who was Chen Jun? So be it that they had gotten a divorce. That was nothing. Her mom was right. Her life was more valuable than Jiao Nan's and she was luckier than her. A blessing like the Zai family was clearly prepared for her. So what if it was her second marriage? Based on her luck, she would just be luckier with each marriage. When she rushed into Jiao Nan's ward, aside from Jiao Nan, who was lying quietly on the bed, seemingly lifeless, there was coincidentally no one else in the room. Looking at Jiao Nan's pale look, split lips, and light breathing, Jiao Zijin's body trembled slightly. She took a deep breath and pinched the tender flesh of her thigh hard. She immediately burst into tears. Nan, we just reconciled. Why did you? Nan, you had such a bitter life. The 3 children aren't any better. I really feel heartache for them. As she said this, Jiao Zijin knelt next to Jiao Nan's bed. She was certain that the volume of her words would definitely wake Jiao Nan up. As such, she said, Nan, the triplets were just born. They are still so young. They can't lose their mother or the care of their mother. Why is God so indifferent? He didn't even give you this opportunity. They are so cute. Why did they encounter such a thing? Xiao Nan, who was abruptly awakened by Xiao Zijin's crying, had two questions. What happened to her triplets? Did something terrible happen to them? In her dream, her triplets were always safe and no accident had happened. Upon thinking that she was 40 years old when giving birth to the triplets, Xiao Nan couldn't help but doubt. Could it be that something happened to their bodies as she had given birth to them only at the age of 40? Xiao Nan, who was frightened by her thoughts, immediately became paler. If something happened to the triplets, why didn't Mom mention it to her just now? She even looked so happy. Could it be that Mom was really hiding something from her? The more Xiao Nan thought about it, the more nervous and afraid she was. Her body trembled. She wanted to get out of bed and look at her 3 children and ask the doctor personally about their situation. If she didn't hear it for herself, she wouldn't feel at ease. It was just that the wound on her stomach hurt badly. Coupled with Xiao Zijin throwing herself at her, Xiao Nan couldn't get up at all. Nan, don't be agitated. No matter what happens, I'm around. There's room for discussion between us sisters. I believe there's nothing in this world that we can't solve together. Xiao Zijin thought that she had touched on the painful point in Xiao Nan's heart when she saw her lifeless face and wet eyes. The children were just born but the biological mother didn't survive. Who wouldn't be worried about their children having step-parents in the future? Xiao Nan's situation wasn't optimistic to begin with when she entered the operating theater yesterday. Just after 24 hours of observation, her condition hadn't improved. With her agitated mood and Xiao Zijin crushing her body, Xiao Nan had a feeling that she was going to be crushed to death by Xiao Zijin. Xiao Zijin didn't know that Xiao Nan was feeling so uncomfortable because she was crushing her. Seeing that Xiao Nan looked like she couldn't breathe and was about to die any time, she only thought that her time was here. Nan, I know you're running out of time. I'll go straight to the point. We are still sisters no matter how much we argue between us. Remember. Aside from your family in this world, you can't believe anyone else. Chapter 2182, The Children Can't Do Without a Mom. The children are just born. They can't do without a mother's care. As such, before you leave, you have to consider their future arrangements. She was going to die. Xiao Nan was finally going to die. She had waited so long for this day. Perhaps God had arranged so many tribulations for her previously so that she could wait until today. The bitterness she had suffered before wasn't in vain. She was finally going to make it big. Nan, while you still have the strength to speak, remember to make it clear to Zai Sheng later. Remember, you must persuade Zai Sheng. Those women outside have a lot of thoughts. Of course, none of them is as reliable as your own family. Nan, in this lifetime, I only have you as a sister. Don't think of how badly I've treated you before. In reality, if I didn't treat you as family, how would I be like this? Don't worry. I'll treat the triplets well, just like how I treat Feng Feng. Nan, you understand what I mean, right? Now, you can only trust me. Question marks appeared in Xiao Nan's eyes. She thought that something had happened to her children. However, from Xiao Zijin's words, why was it that it seemed like she was waiting for her to give her last words? Also, what exactly did Xiao Zijin mean by those words? What did it mean to have step-parents? Why was it that outsiders weren't as reliable as her family? Why did Xiao Zijin keep emphasizing their relationship? Xiao Nan took a deep breath. What do you mean? Nan, you're so smart. How can you not understand my meaning? Nan, you're not going to make it soon. Don't keep everything to yourself. As long as you arrange everything well, you can swallow your last breath and leave peacefully. If there's really a next lifetime, I believe that not only would you be able to reincarnate well, but you would also lead a happy life. Seeing that there wasn't anyone else in the ward, Xiao Zijin made it clear to Xiao Nan. Nan, really? You must consider your children's future despite the conflicts we had before. Rather than letting Zai Sheng marry another woman after you're gone, it would be better if I become your children's mother. You might not know this, but after you went to Qingshui town, Mom and I went to find you. Do you know why we did that? It's all for your happiness. Xiao Nan's head buzzed. After hearing Xiao Zijin's nonsensical words, Xiao Nan started to understand. Xiao Zijin thought that she was about to die and thus wanted her to quickly say her last words. Xiao Nan also understood the most important point. Not only did Xiao Zijin thought that she was going to die, but Xiao Zijin even wished for her to tell Zai Sheng before her death that he should marry her and let her be the mother of her 3 newborns. After understanding this, Xiao Nan was so angry that she rolled her eyes. If she was really going to die, it would either be Xiao Zijin angering her to death or Xiao Zijin physically crushing her to death. This meant that Xiao Zijin went to the capital from Pingcheng and came to see her behind their father's back because of this. Xiao Zijin felt that she was definitely going to die. After her death, Xiao Zijin could inherit her husband and children and become the chief's wife? Xiao Nan never would have guessed that Xiao Zijin had this idea. She didn't expect Xiao Zijin to be so perverse. How ridiculous! She had never seen anyone more ridiculous than Xiao Zijin. After her death, would she let Zai Sheng marry Xiao Zijin and let the 3 children whom she had given birth to with much difficulty call Xiao Zijin mom? She wouldn't have died peacefully if she handed her 3 children over to Xiao Zijin on her deathbed, let alone that she was doing well now. Her triplets were obedient and well-behaved children. Once they grew up with Xiao Zijin, they would only become as perverse as her. How ruthless was she if she were to hand over her biological children to such a person? She'd rather bet her luck on Zai Sheng and let him find a reliable stepmother for her children than take the initiative and let Xiao Zijin enter the Zai family. Who said that she was going to let Zai Sheng find a stepmother for her triplets? She was well and alive. Nan, you don't know that despite the contradictions, I have you as a sister in my heart. You're nearing your 40s and weren't married. Upon thinking about this, I feel that I've let you down and was ashamed to see you. Although I couldn't bear to, and this decision is like cutting my flesh off, you are my only biological sister. As long as you're suffering, what is my pain compared to yours? If you hadn't married Zai Sheng, I had already persuaded Mom to think of ways to reconnect you with Chen Jun. Chen Jun's conditions aren't bad. If you marry Chen Jun, you'd become Mrs. Chen and enjoy your blessings. I've long expected this. You're 40 years old this year. Giving birth is simply taking away your life. I don't know what Zai Sheng is thinking to have valued the children more than you. In order to have a baby, he completely ignored your life and death. I initially thought that if you married Chen Jun, he didn't need you to give birth to another child since he already has Feng Feng. You watched Feng Feng grow up since he was young. He's simply like your child. Nothing is more important than you leading a good life. As such, it would be good for both you and Feng Feng if you marry Chen Jun. Nan, you should understand my heart for you and my words now, right? Understood it? Of course. Xiao Nan's heart tightened. She only felt that every breath she took became more difficult. She really didn't know that Xiao Zijin and Ding Ji had such an idea before. After knowing that Chen Jun had made such a shady deal with Wang Yang before, Xiao Nan always felt disgusted when she thought of Chen Jun. How would Xiao Nan be together with a man whom she found disgusting and marry him to become his wife? What she couldn't accept the most was that it was obvious that Xiao Zijin and Ding Ji didn't have good intentions when they made such an arrangement. Why did they say it so nicely? Indeed, she was 40 years old and it was dangerous for her to give birth. However, if she didn't give birth, Chen Jun would only have Feng Feng as a son. Would she not have guessed Xiao Zijin's intention? She was obviously afraid that after Chen Jun married a young woman and said woman gave birth to a child, this child would snatch away Chen Feng's things. It didn't matter that she suffered because she was thinking of her happiness. Nonsense. Xiao Zijin wanted her to be a free nanny for the rest of her life. She wanted her to take care of Chen Feng on her behalf and even help Chen Feng keep an eye on all of the Chen family's inheritance. Xiao Zijin wouldn't rest until she squeezed out every benefit that she could obtain from her. Xiao Nan only wanted to vomit when Xiao Zijin described how noble she was when her thoughts were, in fact, so selfish. Chapter 2183, Downright Disgusting. Xiao Zijin had no idea that Xiao Nan's expression had worsened only because she had been so disgusted by her. She had even thought that Xiao Nan was about to pass on at any moment. Taking her chance, she explained herself even more clearly. Nan, you should understand how much I care for you as a sister now that I'm doing this for you, right? Actually, I know that there will be gossip if I were to marry Zai Sheng after you die. But I have money on hand now and I'm living quite freely as well. There's really no need for me to get ridiculed like that. But you're my most beloved sister, and the 3 children are my most beloved nephews and niece. I won't let any other woman take your place, much less let the 3 children address any other woman as their stepmother. No matter how badly I'm ridiculed, I'm willing to bear it all for your sake. Nan, you can rest assured and leave the 3 children to me. At this moment, Xiao Zijin dared not mention Zai Sheng anymore or even express her interest in Zai Sheng. In a mother's heart, her children would always be the most important. One might reluctantly agree to another woman's presence if that woman was going to help with child rearing. However, if that woman was after her husband from the beginning, a wife would never agree to that woman taking care of her husband. As such, Xiao Zijin could only say that she wanted to adopt Xiao Nan's 3 children, with no mention of her adoration and admiration for Zai Sheng. You, Xiao Nan was so infuriated that she was at a loss for words. She had to say that Xiao Zijin had indeed watched too many television dramas and had read too many novels. Even if it was true that Xiao Zijin was already divorced from Chen Jun and was now single, why would she have to let her sister marry her husband just to take care of her children if she really passed on? Not only did that sound ridiculous but also disgraceful and embarrassing. How had Ding Ji raised Xiao Zijin that she had even thought of such an illogical idea? Did Xiao Zijin think that everyone else in the world was as stupid and irrational as she was? Nan, don't hurry. What do you want to say? Why don't I get Zai Sheng over and you talk to him while you still have the energy to do so? Otherwise, Zai Sheng and the rest may not believe me when I convey your words to them. Nan, you have to hold on. I'll get them over right away. Xiao Nan couldn't even articulate well now, so Xiao Zijin was afraid that she would take her last breath at any moment before settling everything. It would make a huge difference if those words earlier were from Xiao Nan or her. Zai Sheng would probably not take her seriously, but he would probably listen to Xiao Nan. She had already gone to such an extent in front of Xiao Nan. Didn't they say that people normally forgot about the evils of the world and thought of only good things nearing death? Xiao Nan should have felt her sincerity and understood her intentions, and she would probably help her out, right? Zai Sheng, it's great to see you. Hurry over to Nan. She's going to take her last breath soon. Nan said that she has some last words for you. Although I have only one sister, and even though it's an unsolicited request, I'm in a tough spot. As long as Nan asks for it, I'll agree to it no matter what. Zai Sheng, won't you do that too? You're her closest kin. We have to let her leave peacefully and at ease. Zai Sheng. Xiao Zijin hadn't even finished her sentence when Zai Sheng's expression changed as he pushed Xiao Zijin aside and ran to Xiao Nan's room. The doctor had said that Nan would be fine as long as she awoke within 24 hours. He had not even left Nan's side for half an hour, but her condition had already deteriorated so significantly. That couldn't be. That was impossible. Miao Jing, who had been behind Zai Sheng, felt weak all of a sudden after hearing Xiao Zijin's words, and she collapsed into Zai Yaowai's arms. That can't be. Old Zai, did I hear that wrongly? My head feels so dizzy. Miao Jing nearly passed out upon hearing Xiao Zaijian's words. Xiao Nan had been just fine that morning and had even drunk her soup happily. It had been only 2 hours since then. How could Nan be on the verge of passing away now? Had that been terminal lucidity in the morning? Thinking about how her 3 grandchildren were about to lose their mother after just a day, Miao Jing almost started sobbing. Zai Yaowai was frantic too. His 3 grandchildren had finally been born safely into the world, and Xiao Nan's condition had finally stabilized. It seemed like the Zai family's lives were only going to get better. Who would have known that such a turn would occur so quickly? Don't worry. Let's listen to what the doctor has to say. I believe that Nan won't crumble so easily. She's already given birth to the 3 children. She'll be able to overcome any difficulty in her path. We should listen to the doctor instead. Xiao Zaijian was not a doctor, and she was even an outsider. Her words had to be taken with a pinch of salt. Unless the doctor told them that. Let's go see Nan and see what the doctor says. Zai Yaowai firmly held up Miao Jing and supported her. Xiao Zaijian had wanted to chase after Zai Sheng, but she thought about how Xiao Nan was probably giving her last words to him. It seemed better for her not to be around. What if Zai Sheng misunderstood that Xiao Nan was only saying those words because of her influence? As long as she wasn't there when Xiao Nan said those words, Zai Sheng couldn't possibly push the blame to her and accuse her of planning this out, right? It was just as well. She was about to get married to Zai Sheng. Zai Sheng's agreement was important, but so were Miao Jing's and Zai Yaowai's attitudes toward her. She had already lost out once with Chen Jun. Having had prior experience, Xiao Zaijian knew that she had to treat Zai Yaowai and Miao Jing like her biological parents. No, she would treat them even better than her own biological parents. She would strive to be like Xiao Nan and be the best daughter-in-law in the world to her parents-in-law so that they would treat her like their own biological daughter. With that in mind, Xiao Zaijian was in no hurry to return to Xiao Nan's ward to hear the conversation between Xiao Nan and Zai Sheng. She walked toward Miao Jing and reached her hand out, wanting to support Miao Jing. "Auntie, don't be upset. Nan is such a filial person. I'm sure she wouldn't want to see you in this state. If you hurt yourself because of her, Nan would definitely feel bad. As her kin, we have to let her go with peace in her mind and with no regrets. Don't you think so, Auntie?" That meant that they had better not object to Zai Sheng marrying her. Otherwise, Xiao Nan wouldn't rest easy even in death. Chapter 2184, Imbecile. Didn't the Zai family love Xiao Nan very much? They couldn't possibly refuse Xiao Nan's last request, right? That won't be necessary. Thank you. Holding Miao Jing, Zai Yaowai asked Xiao Zaijian to move out of the way. Even though Xiao Zaijian was Xiao Nan's elder sister and claimed to be their family, Zai Yaowai had no good feelings for Xiao Zaijian at all. Xiao Nan was about to pass away and their whole family was devastated. On the contrary, Xiao Zaijian didn't even seem to be sad at all. Just based on Xiao Zaijian's behavior alone, Zai Yaowai could tell how much feeling she had for Xiao Nan. Since Xiao Zaijian did not even have much feeling for Xiao Nan, there was no way she had anything to do with the Zai family. "We'll go there ourselves." "Where's your dad? Why was Xiao Zaijian the only one here? Where was Xiao Dongliang? How could Xiao Dongliang be so bold to let Xiao Zaijian interact with Xiao Nan alone even while knowing the kind of person she was? Xiao Nan's condition had better not have anything to do with Xiao Zaijian. Otherwise, this was a society ruled by the law. Anyone who committed crimes would have to be punished by the law. No one was spared from it. What's wrong? Speaking of the devil, Xiao Dongliang suddenly appeared. He had wanted to catch up with Xiao Zaijian, but he was old and was no match for Xiao Zaijian. Actually, Xiao Dongliang was rather unlucky too. He had hailed a cab to get to the hospital but had unfortunately encountered a traffic jam along the way. By the time he arrived at the hospital, Xiao Zijin had already given her performance. "In-laws, what's wrong?" Xiao Dongliang warned Xiao Zijin with his gaze, wanting to ensure that Xiao Zijin had not caused any trouble. Then, his heart leaped when he saw Miaojing in her current state. What had Zijin done this time? Had Zijin angered Nan Nan's mother-in-law? Xiao Zijin was aggrieved. "Dad, why are you looking at me like that? I didn't do anything." Auntie's feeling unwell because she found out that Nan Nan's going to pass away soon. She's just devastated. "It has nothing to do with me. Dad, it's all your fault. Why didn't you tell me earlier that Nan Nan had already given birth? If I knew about it, I would have come to the hospital yesterday to spend some time with her." If she had arrived an hour earlier, Xiao Nan would have an extra hour to explain the situation clearly to the Zai family. Only then would the Zai family believe it, since Xiao Nan had said it while her mind was still clear. Zai Sheng might not even take her last words to heart since she had said it in such a rush. Then, it might be a long while before Zai Sheng decided to get a marriage certificate with her to marry her officially. That might even take a year or two. In her opinion, Zai Sheng had all the more reasons to marry her right away once Xiao Nan passed away, so that the joyous occasion would wash away all of the family's bad luck. This was not purely superstition. No matter what, it was her dad's fault. If her dad had told her about this yesterday, she would have spent the night by Xiao Nan's side in the hospital. That way, she was sure that the Zai family would see just how much she cared for her sister. Xiao Dongliang's flask dropped on the ground with a loud clang. Nan's going to die soon? That's impossible. She was doing just fine yesterday. How could this be? I don't believe you. The doctor said that Nan's condition would stabilize as long as she woke up within 24 hours. 2.5 hours ago, Zai Sheng texted me to say that Nan's fine now and that she had already awoken. Do you mean that the doctor lied to me? I have to see her for myself. The news that Xiao Nan was on the verge of passing away was a bolt out of the blue for all those who truly cared for Xiao Nan, especially since the Zai family thought that their lives were getting better now that Xiao Nan had given birth to the 3 children. Yesterday, the Zai family had rejoiced over the arrival of their 3 new family members. But today, they had to face such a cruel reality. No one would be able to do so in their place. Right, I want to see Nan. She's clearly awake and she even drank a lot of soup. How could she not be well now? I don't believe you. After hearing Xiao Dongliang's words, Miaojing seemed to have regained her energy and the 3 elderly people rushed toward Xiao Nan's ward. Not only had she been unable to suck up to her future parents-in-law, but she had even been embarrassed in front of them by Xiao Dongliang. Xiao Zijin pouted. Fake. They were all fake. Her dad was biased toward Xiao Nan, but he had never cared about her so much. As for her future parents-in-law, they were even more ridiculous. Xiao Nan wasn't even their biological daughter. Being so miserable that she couldn't even walk? Who was she putting on that act for? She wouldn't fall for such an act. Everyone else was in a panic, but Xiao Zijin was extremely calm. Xiao Zijin had felt Zai Yaoi's gaze earlier. Leaving Zai Sheng aside, her future parents-in-law and her father had been overly dramatic upon hearing that Xiao Nan was about to pass away. In fact, she was probably the least dedicated and caring. Giving it some thought, Xiao Zijin sent Ding Ji a voice message to let her know that Xiao Nan was dying and that she had already accomplished half her mission. It would be a done deal once she got a marriage certificate with Zai Sheng. After that, Xiao Zijin tried as hard as she could to rub her eyes as hard as possible until she teared up. Only then did she rush toward Xiao Nan's ward with reddened eyes. Nan, you're still so young. You just gave birth to 3 children. How could you leave us just like that? How could you bear to leave your loved ones behind? Nan, you. Xiao Zijin's tone was no different from mourning. It was just that her hand suddenly stopped midair as she tried to wipe away her tears. The atmosphere felt strange. Wasn't the room too quiet now that they knew that Jiao Nan was dying? Weren't her father and future parents-in-law devastated by the news just moments earlier? Why had they suddenly stopped in their act? Opening her eyes, Xiao Zijin saw Xiao Dongliang's livid expression, Zai Yaowai's confusion, and Miao Jing's disgust. As for Zai Sheng, he was looking at her no different from how he would look at a dead body. Xiao Zijin shivered in fear. What's wrong? Were they not going to cry? Were they going to stop her from crying? Xiao Dongliang took a step forward and landed a slap squarely on Xiao Zijin's face. Imbecile! Xiao Dongliang wanted to scold her for being such a shameless and evil thing. Nan was still alive and well. Why had she made up such a lie that had almost caused him a heart attack? Chapter 2185, Something Wrong. He had thought that it was strange. The doctor had clearly said that Nan would be fine as long as her condition stabilized and she awoke. Zai Sheng had also texted him to say that Nan was fine and that the doctor had said so too. Why had Nan's condition deteriorated so rapidly in the time that he took to get to the hospital? He had probably lost 3 years of his life from that scare. Xiao Zijin was not just lying. Her words were no different from cursing Xiao Nan. Dad, why did you hit me? Nan is gone and I'm your only daughter now. How could you hit me? No matter how good Xiao Nan was, she was gone. Wasn't her dad afraid that he would have no one to send him off when he passed on if he hit her now? Her dad had to be crazy. Was her dad counting on Zai Sheng to support him in his old age? Humph, once she married Zai Sheng, she would have the last say as to whether Zai Sheng would support her father. Nonsense! Xiao Dongliang had the urge to sew Xiao Zijin's mouth up with a needle. Ever since Xiao Nan had been admitted into the hospital, everyone had been worried and could never sleep well, afraid that something would happen to Xiao Nan in the middle of the night. Miao Jing and Zai Yaowai had only arrived at the hospital after the children were born. Because of that, Miao Jing had berated Zai Sheng for not letting them know about Xiao Nan's labor earlier so that they could have cheered Xiao Nan on. It had not been easy to overcome all those storms to welcome a bright new day, but Xiao Zijin had given them such a scare. Isn't Nan doing just fine? Are you dreaming in broad daylight? Sleepwalking wasn't scary, but why did she have to scare others too? She's fine. Xiao Zijin was stunned. She had even thought that her dad had beaten her because he didn't agree with Zai Sheng marrying her. Besides, Xiao Nan was clearly taking her last breaths earlier. How could she be fine now? He. Xiao Nan laughed as she got Zai Sheng to support her to sit up. I'm sorry, but I'm not prepared to die just yet. If you want to mourn me, you can come back in another few decades. But I don't know if you'll still be around then. Xiao Nan was truly enraged by Xiao Zijin's shamelessness, and she refreshed Xiao Zijin's memory. Xiao Nan had only told Zai Sheng about Xiao Zijin's plans. She felt too ashamed to even mention it to her elders. She had no other choice. In front of her parents-in-law, having a relative like Xiao Zijin had already become an embarrassment to her. As for Xiao Dongliang, Xiao Nan was afraid that Xiao Dongliang would feel ashamed for having raised a daughter like that. A sister-in-law marrying her brother-in-law to take care of her sister's newborn children. Things like that didn't happen anymore, all right? You're not dead. Xiao Zijin was wide-eyed. Why was she not dead? Wasn't she dying? Xiao Zijin stared at Xiao Dongliang, full of questions. It was Xiao Dongliang who had told her that Xiao Nan was going to pass away soon. Xiao Dongliang frowned. Why did he not understand the conversation between Nan and Zijin? He looked again at Xiao Zijin's puzzled face and he could not help but ask, has there been a misunderstanding? Zijin, why are you looking at me like that? Dad, didn't you tell me that Xiao Nan had only a few more hours to live? What did I tell you? Xiao Dongliang was truly confused. What had he told Zijin that had concerned death? Tell me, Zijin. What did you tell Nan Nan? Xiao Dongliang didn't want to hear the word death now that Xiao Nan had just returned from death's door after giving birth to her children. The mention of that word was enough to make him shudder. But since there was a misunderstanding, he would have to clear the air. Xiao Zijin took a deep breath and stared blankly at Xiao Nan. After confirming that Xiao Nan had no intention to stop breathing anytime soon, Xiao Zijin kicked up a fuss. Nan Nan's fine. Didn't they say that it was dangerous for older patients to give birth? Didn't they say that there was a much higher risk for multiple births than a singleton? Xiao Nan satisfied both those conditions, so why hadn't she died? Shouldn't Xiao Nan have died without any question? If Xiao Nan was not dead, why had she sobbed and comforted them earlier? Had it been a joke or a performance? Xiao Dongliang looked at Zijin with a strange gaze. Didn't I tell you that Nan Nan's condition stabilized after she gave birth? Nan Nan's condition was a little unstable earlier, but she's fine now since she's already woken up. Had he not made that clear with his words? Why did he feel that Zijin's understanding was completely different from what he meant? Did that mean that Zijin had thought that Nan Nan was in grave danger and about to die when he had said that Nan Nan was safe? That was absurd. Why would Zijin have such a ridiculous misunderstanding? Xiao Zijin pouted. So, that was what her dad meant earlier. He hadn't meant that Xiao Nan had only a few hours left to live. What he meant was that Xiao Nan had already passed the critical period and had woken up. Xiao Zijin was puzzled. With just one out of those two conditions, it was not uncommon for other women to die. But why had nothing happened to Xiao Nan even though she satisfied both those conditions? Were you acting earlier? Xiao Zijin's expression changed once again. If she had indeed misunderstood her dad's words, then what did Xiao Nan mean? Xiao Nan had acted as though she was going to die earlier. If not for her struggling and looking in pain, would she have misunderstood the situation? Xiao Nan thought Xiao Zijin's words were ridiculous. Acting? How had she been acting? Had it not been for Xiao Zijin mentioning the triplets, making her misunderstand that something had happened to them, her expression wouldn't have changed either. Xiao Zijin was really hopeless. She was the one who had misunderstood the situation but had the guts to blame her for acting. I wasn't acting. When you rushed up to me, you pressed on my wound. Up until now, Xiao Nan's wound was still acting up from time to time. Thankfully, she had realized that Xiao Zijin had misunderstood that there was something wrong with her, and nothing had happened to the triplets. She pressed on your wound? Zai Sheng asked as he glanced coldly at Xiao Zijin. Why didn't you tell me? I'll get the nurse over to see whether anything's wrong with it. Miaojing and Zai Yao eyed Xiao Zijin with an unfriendly gaze. Xiao Nan had just given birth the day before and had just gotten out of danger. Anyone with the slightest bit of common sense would know not to pounce on Xiao Nan, much less on her wound. What kind of relative was Xiao Zijin? She was much more like an enemy. An enemy would know only to curse others. Chapter 2186, Going Back. Hearing that there was something wrong with Xiao Nan, the nurse rushed over. But her tone was rough. It's not as though you don't know that the patient just underwent a cesarean section yesterday. How could you bump into the patient's wound? It's bleeding. Thankfully, the wound hasn't burst. Otherwise, it'll be very troublesome. The nurse's actions were swift and she cleaned Xiao Nan's wound and changed the dressing before reminding Zai Sheng not to touch Xiao Nan's wound again. Hadn't they asked about what they needed to take note of after a cesarean section? Why were they behaving in such a poor manner? It was as though they had done all that homework for nothing. All right. Thank you. Even as an old chief's wife, Miao Jing did not mind being told off by a nurse. She even kindly escorted the nurse out of the room. Once the nurse left, Miao Jing turned to Xiao Zijin. Did you hear what the nurse said? Our family can take good care of Nan Nan. In the future, you'd better not show up here. We don't wish for you to help out. You'll be crossing the line if you do. She had bumped into Jiao Nan's wound, making her bleed. How careless of her! Or perhaps, she should say that Jiao Zijin had never truly cared about her younger sister, Nan Nan. That was why she could not be bothered about such things either. Jiao Zijin had lost all confidence and dignity. She had been hoping to get married to Zai Sheng after Jiao Nan died. But now that Jiao Nan was still alive, there was nothing she could do anymore. It would be difficult for her to even get married to Zai Sheng if Jiao Nan were to die. Now that Jiao Nan had not died, it would be absolutely impossible for her to get married to Zai Sheng. How could Zai Sheng ever divorce Jiao Nan just to marry her? In Zai Sheng's heart, she was probably nothing more than a stranger. Jiao Zijin was truly in a dilemma now that the life she had dreamed of was crumbling before her eyes. It didn't seem right for her to leave, but neither did it seem right for her to stay. Dad, I'll leave first. Jiao Zijin stared at Jiao Nan in anger. Even up until now, she couldn't understand why Jiao Nan had not died and was still perfectly well and alive. How was she going to live in the future now that Jiao Nan was still alive? Hurry home. Jiao Dongliang did not wish to say any more to Jiao Zijin. The moment he had heard the nurse say that Jiao Nan's wound was bleeding, he had had the urge to slap the senseless Jiao Zijin. But for the sake of Jiao Nan and his own dignity, he had not done so. Jiao Zijin harumphed and her expression was dark as she picked up her bag and left for that small rented apartment. Jiao Nan sighed as soon as Jiao Zijin left. No one else knew what Jiao Zijin was up to, but Jiao Nan did. Thinking about how Jiao Zijin had rushed up to her and said such disgusting words, Jiao Nan felt miserable. Dad, it's been hard on you to run around as well. You'd better get some rest too. Brother Zai, I'm fine now. You can help me get the discharge procedures done. I want to go through my confinement at home. She had no intention of staying in this hospital any longer. Jiao Zijin could enter the hospital, but she would never be allowed into the Zai family's house. Even if Jiao Zijin were to tag along with her father, she would be stopped outside all the same as long as the Zai family didn't agree to her entering. If she had a choice, she would never want to meet Jiao Zijin again. Of course, neither did she want to meet Ding Ji. All right. Zai Sheng agreed without any hesitation. Jiao Nan's condition had actually stabilized, and if not for Jiao Zijin's words earlier, Jiao Nan was actually doing rather well. Since she was unsettled staying in the hospital, it would be better for her to return home to recuperate. At least, no one could disturb Jiao Nan without their permission at home. That's good too. Miao Jing had already wished for the three children to return home as soon as possible with Jiao Nan. Thankfully, apart from being slightly lighter than average, there was nothing majorly wrong with the triplets. After doing a comprehensive checkup on the children, the doctors had given the green light for the children to return home. With Jiao Nan's words, Miao Jing eagerly and happily welcomed her three grandchildren home. Thankfully, I brought clothes for the children over yesterday. It seems like they'll get the chance to wear them today. The thought of the triplets wearing those tiny and soft clothes that she had bought overwhelmed Miao Jing. Because she had her grandchildren, Miao Jing almost neglected her daughter-in-law, Jiao Nan. After all, she knew that she didn't have to worry about Jiao Nan with her son, Zai Sheng, around. Her son would take care of her daughter-in-law, while the elderly couple would take care of their grandchildren. The Zai family was rejoicing over welcoming their daughter-in-law and the three children home, but on the other hand, Xiao Dongliang was alone and seemed rather out of place in this joyous atmosphere. Xiao Dongliang dared not have any emotions, and even if he did have any, he could only suppress them. It was naturally a parent's fault for not bringing up their children well. Xiao Dongliang dared not expect the Zai family to treat him as well as they had before because Jiao Zijin had committed such a huge error in front of the Zai family. Xiao Dongliang forced a smile out. All right, I'll make a move first then. I'll visit you and the children another day. Xiao Dongliang glanced warily at Jiao Nan while posing that question. He had no other choice. Qiao Zijin had made a mistake, and she was his daughter. It was his fault that he had not raised her well. In fact, Qiao Zijin had refused to leave the capital because of the accommodation that the Zai family had arranged for him. Qiao Dongliang himself had made so many mistakes. As such, it was only natural for him to lack confidence in the face of the Zai family. He was an old man of almost 70, with half his head full of white hair. Even an average person would feel some sympathy for Qiao Dongliang if they were to see his pitiful expression. But Qiao Nan knew that one that was pitiful must have a hateful story too. Her father had refused to rein Qiao Zijin in, nor harden his heart toward Qiao Zijin. The person her father softened his heart to was Qiao Zijin over and over again, yet the person who had to pay for that was her. Even though Qiao Nan had never intended to estrange Qiao Dongliang, she could not help but feel angry toward him and annoyed that he knew nothing about being a father. Qiao Nan was indifferent. "All right. You can come over and visit the 3 children when you get the chance. Don't bother bringing anything over. We have everything we need at home. We don't even have enough space for more." "Oh, okay." It was only upon hearing that Qiao Nan allowed him to visit his grandchildren did Qiao Dongliang heave a sigh of relief. Along the way back, Qiao Dongliang dared not splurge on a taxi. Instead, he chose to take the public bus back. Chapter 2187, Good Fortune. Very quickly, Zai Sheng settled the discharge procedures. Zai Sheng carried Qiao Nan, while the rest of the Zai family carried a baby each. They got in the car and left for home. The news that Qiao Nan had safely given birth to the 3 children and had returned to the Zai family's house spread quickly. Shi Qing had heard that Zai Sheng had not only gotten married but had also become the father to 3 children. She looked at the baby boy whom she had just adopted and smiled. Brother Zai had become a father, and she had become a mother. She had not been any slower than Brother Zai. "How's the baby?" Feng Cheng had been rather unused to it since she had not taken care of such a young child for a long time. Initially, Feng Cheng had been reluctant to accept Shi Qing adopting a child, especially when she found out that the child was ill. Her daughter had already gone through so much. If she were to raise a sick child, Qing might end up needing to take care of that child for the rest of her life instead of that child taking care of her in her old age. But humans were emotional creatures, after all. Before long, Feng Cheng had taken a liking to the child. She even wondered if this child was fated to enter their family. Shi Qing placed the child down on the bed. "I just fed him some milk. He's fallen asleep. About his illness, I've asked some doctors about it. It won't be difficult to cure. We'll just have to spend some money. Perhaps, the child's parents weren't very well to do. Or perhaps, they weren't particularly responsible." The moment they heard that this child was ill and that they would need to fork out thousands of yuan to treat his illness, they abandoned him without a second thought. Because the child's parents were Beijing drifters, they didn't have a permanent residence. As such, the hospital hadn't been able to locate them. Left with no other choice, they could only send this child to the orphanage. This child's fate was probably intertwined with Shi Qing's. To distract and occupy Feng Cheng, Shi Qing had gone to the orphanage to see if there were any suitable orphans to adopt. There were many healthy children there, but the day that Shi Qing had visited the orphanage happened to be the day that this child had arrived there. The child's illness was a significant expense and burden for the orphanage as well. Upon learning of that situation, Shi Qing decided not to look any further and to adopt that baby boy immediately. As such, Shi Qing brought that baby boy home after handling some paperwork. Thousands of yuan was quite a huge burden for the orphanage since there were so many children in the orphanage. But that amount didn't mean much to Shi Qing. Brother Zai is back with Qiao Nan. I heard that Qiao Nan gave birth to 3 children at once. 2 sons and a daughter. Because Brother Zai is a good person, he always has good fortune. These children may have come a little late, but at least, they've come. In the future, our child will have 3 playmates. Shi Qing told Feng Cheng mindlessly about Zai Sheng and Qiao Nan. Feng Cheng felt a little upset. He has children, but don't you too? Don't worry. When you're away, I'll take good care of this child. Don't forget that I raised you. Since Qing Qing liked it, she would just follow along. This child was still so young, and they were the ones raising him. In that case, he would probably be close to Qing Qing after he grew older. He would probably be no different from a biological child since he was still so young now. Perhaps, it was because of the triplets that Feng Cheng expressed that Shi Qing had a child too and that there was no need for her to be jealous of other people's children. With such a thought in mind, Feng Cheng put even more heart and effort into raising the child. When the child grew a little older and could recognize the people around him, he especially liked his grandma, Feng Cheng. Gradually, Feng Cheng started regarding the child as her biological grandchild too. When Shi Qing added the child into her household register, she had named the child Shi Weiguo. It was slightly cliched, but its meaning was obvious. Nan Nan, look. These are the names that Dad has picked out for the triplets. What do you think? Zai Sheng held out a paper in his hands. The names on it were still the same as they had been in her dream, Zai Yi, Zai Xin, and Zai Yu. Seeing that their names hadn't changed, Qiao Nan nodded. The names are quite nice. Let's settle on them then. Oh right, Brother Zai. Don't put off registering them on our household register anymore. They had initially wanted to add the triplets to their household registry while they had been in the hospital. Unfortunately, Zai Yaowai hadn't been able to come up with names that he was satisfied with. Because of his temper, Zai Yaowai had no intention of saving any effort on his grandchildren's names. As such, they had no choice but to delay the matter. He had finally come up with names that he was satisfied with, and he handed them over to Zai Sheng, as though they were a treasure, for Qiao Nan to take a look. It was not just Zai Yaowai who had been pleased with the names. Even Zai Sheng and Miaojing had given their approval. All that was lacking was the final seal of approval from the children's mom, Qiao Nan. How did it go? Does Qiao Nan like the names? Otherwise, shall I look through the dictionary again? Zai Yaowai would never compromise on this matter that concerned his grandchildren. He would do it to perfection. Zai Sheng shook his head. There's no need for that. Nan Nan said that these names are pretty nice and she asked me to hurry and register the triplets in our household register. I have to get going now. To add the triplets' names to their household register of family members. Right, right. That's the most important thing right now. Hurry. Miaojing retrieved the household register and placed it in Zai Sheng's hands. Remember to keep a close eye on them when they register our triplets' names. Make sure they don't write their names wrongly. Otherwise, I heard that it'll be quite troublesome to change their names in the future. Zai Sheng nodded while taking the household register over. After Zai Sheng left to register the 3 children, Miaojing happily went from door to door, giving out red eggs to let their neighbors know that their family had just welcomed children. In fact, they had welcomed 3 children at once. Everyone in the quad had already learned that Qiao Nan and her 3 children had arrived home. Now that they had been gifted red eggs, these neighbors had nothing but praises and blessings. It didn't matter what these people actually thought. No one would do such a bad thing to speak ill of them. Besides, there were many who felt that the Zai family's daughter-in-law might be lacking in several aspects, but she could give birth to children, at the very least. That was definitely an advantage. The Zai family truly had good fortune to have both grandsons and a granddaughter all at once. Chapter 2188, Given Birth. Given birth. It's good to have given birth. At another hospital, Zhu Jinqi, who was wearing an oxygen mask, smiled sweetly when he heard that not only were Qiao Nan and the triplets all right, but he was also shown a photo of the 3 wrinkly babies. These 3 children look just like their mother. They're so good looking. When they grow up, they would definitely be practical and clever children. At this time, Upon hearing the noise outside, the person taking care of Zhu Chenqi hurriedly kept the mobile and hid the photo which was just shown to Zhu Chenqi so that people who shouldn't see it wouldn't see it. "Uncle!" Wang Yang came in from outside. He didn't address Zhu Chenqi loudly. Wang Yang's head was still dripping water and the moisture on his body was very obvious. It seemed that he had just come in after taking a bath. "How's my uncle's situation today?" The person taking care of Zhu Chenqi looked at Wang Yang's expression. "Chief Zhu's still alright today. There are no particular problems. He's just sleeping a little longer today and doesn't really like to wake up. Wang Yang, if you have time, you should spend more time with Chief Zhu whenever you can." In other words, the situation of Zhu Chenqi now was quite bleak. Wang Yang loosened his frowning eyebrows slightly. It was as if a big stone was removed from his heart. "I also want to spend more time with him. However, you know about the Zhu family situation as well. I have to help my uncle keep an eye on those things and not let his hard work and efforts be ruined. I'll try." Wang Yang visited Zhu Chenqi every day now. The news he was most worried to hear about was that Zhu Chenqi's condition was improving. Wang Yang was already feeling annoyed that Zhu Chenqi was just delaying day by day and refusing to die. If Zhu Chenqi's illness suddenly got better and he might even be able to live longer, Wang Yang felt that he would go crazy. He couldn't wait for his uncle, Zhu Chenqi, to be dead. To be honest, Wang Yang put in an effort to take care of Zhu Chenqi's everything because he felt that everything would become his after Zhu Chenqi's death. Who wouldn't manage one's own things well? As long as he took care of Zhu Chenqi's inheritance, once Zhu Chenqi died, he would naturally become the new owner of his wealth. It was only when Wang Yang started to help Zhu Chenqi manage his finances did he know that the Zhu family had such a strong foundation. Back then, Wang Yang heard that his mother brought a bunch of valuable items over to the Wang family when she married his father. However, he had never seen them before, and thus, his imagination was limited. He only faintly knew that the Wang family could become better because of his mother, the daughter-in-law. It was precisely because of this that Wang Yang was always the most respected junior in the Wang family. No matter who it was, they would always be behind Wang Yang. However, after the Zhu family's inheritance was handed over to Wang Yang to manage and it was his first time to see so much money, he nearly couldn't help but want to commit a mistake. Although the Wang family's condition wasn't bad, it wasn't luxurious. Upon seeing the wealth that one could never have in their lifetime, how could they control themselves and not be tempted? If Wang Yang valued the political help that Zhu Chenqi could bring after his death in the past, he similarly valued the Zhu family's inheritance now. No matter how high-ranked official he became, it would just become easier for him to earn money. However, no matter how easy it would be, there was still a limit. Within the range of this limit, Wang Yang expressed that he would need 10 lifetimes to accumulate the wealth of the Zhu family's inheritance. No wonder a number of people told him in the past that the Wang family had relied on his mother to become better. It looked like everything the Wang family owned came from his mother's money. When he first knew that Zihua was getting a divorce from Wei Dui, Wang Yang despised Zihua. He felt that Zihua had a good deck of cards in her hands. However, she was so stupid and blind to have married Wei Dui, a useless man. However, when he knew how much money the Zhu family had, Wang Yang realized that he had a stupid woman like Zihua by his side. This person was none other than his biological mother. Taking the money from her family to raise his grandparents' family? Did she have a brain? After understanding this situation, Wang Yang went to ask his father what was going on. Wang Yang's father was helpless as well. In the beginning, he felt that everyone was family. His parents had worked hard for a long time and it was time to hand over the burden of raising a family to the younger ones. He was the eldest brother in the family and his father had given him whatever little resources he had on his hands. As such, Wang Yang's father felt that it was nothing to provide for his younger siblings. When Wang Yang's father realized that the so-called nothing actually cost so much money and this sum of money should have been his and Wang Yang's father's mentality changed. He still had the family in his heart. However, no matter how he tried to control the situation later, he could no longer get back the large sum of money he had spent earlier. Wang Yang's father wasn't willing to recall such a painful incident. How was he willing to tell his only son that he used to make such a low-level mistake? Of course, these were all in the past. That's true. It isn't easy to manage those things. It has been tough on you as well. Of course, the person taking care of Zhu Chenqi knew how busy Wang Yang was now. He only said those words to Wang Yang so that he wouldn't realize that something was up. All right, I can only trouble you to take care of my uncle well. Now that I'm here, go and rest. After I leave, you still have to continue taking care of him. Thankfully, you are here to help during this period of time. I will thank you well in the future. When the Zhu family's money became his in the future, he wouldn't be lacking money at all. Wang Yang knew that Zhu Chenqi was considered to be a righteous and impartial man. He didn't have the slightest bit of understanding. Wang Yang didn't understand it in the past. Nobody would complain that they had too much money in their hands. It was easy to get into a mutually beneficial relationship where one wouldn't get caught for taking another's money to help resolve a small issue for the other party. And they wouldn't be known as taking bribes. Why was it that his uncle always rejected such good things and didn't talk about favors at all? Sometimes, those people who needed Zhu Chenqi's help came knocking on the Wang family's door. Even if Wang Yang's mother, who was his biological sister, showed up, Zhu Chenqi didn't give them any face. This matter had always made Wang Yang brood over it. However, Wang Yang no longer did so now. The Zhu family was really not lacking money. As such, there was completely no need for Zhu Chenqi to risk getting himself into trouble for that small profit from others. Chapter 2189, When was he dying? Even if there wasn't going to be huge trouble, why should he risk getting himself into trouble in the first place? As such, after the money became Wang Yang's, Wang Yang was going to learn from his uncle's behavior and never did anything that might allow others to blackmail him just for money. He wasn't lacking money. Why should he ruin his future because of money? If he became devoted to his career, he would only climb up the ranks further. Even if he didn't become a soldier, his future achievements would definitely not be any worse than those of Zhu Chenqi, his uncle. Upon thinking about his bright future, Wang Yang was full of energy. He didn't need to make any mistakes. As long as he had some foresight and was calm enough, money would grow and he would lead a good life in the future. In reality, he didn't need to do anything more. Putting this amount of money in the bank alone to earn low interest was enough for their family to lead an extremely good life. What Wang Yang was more concerned about was that Zhu Chenqi was still alive and the money wasn't his yet. In order to prove to Zhu Chenqi that he treated Zhu Chenqi's matters like his own, he treated Zhu Chenqi like his biological father. Wang Yang didn't dare to relax the slightest bit. If he could hit the full 10 marks, he would definitely not be lazy and hit only 8 marks. He would even try to see if he could somehow score 2 more marks and make it 12 marks. The person taking care of Zhu Chenqi smiled. I'll rely on you to take care of me in the future, then. I don't have any other thoughts. I just hope for a more practical job and a good enough salary. Wang Yang smiled. I understand. Wang Yang loved to deal with people who had thoughts. He undoubtedly hated those people without thoughts the most. All right, go and rest. I'll prepare a basin of water to wipe my uncle's face and hands. Oh, right. Have you helped my uncle turn over today yet? Not yet. I'll help him do so then. Wang Yang generously gave the other party a short break. After seeing the other party leave, the smile on Wang Yang's face disappeared. Zhu Chenqi was sleeping. The only living person, Wang Yang, was standing there, not moving or saying a word. The room immediately became quiet and lifeless. After a long time, Wang Yang walked step by step to Zhu Chenqi's side and leaned in to address him as uncle. It was just that Zhu Chenqi seemed to be in a deep sleep. Even though Wang Yang called him thrice, he didn't react at all. Seeing Zhu Chenqi like this, Wang Yang relaxed. He rolled up his sleeves and prepared hot water. Indeed, he started to help Zhu Chenqi wipe his face and hands. "Uncle, you're asleep, right? That's fine. Treat it that I'm saying these words to myself. Sigh, to think that in the past, you were the awe-inspiring chief. Now that you're old, you're sick all over and can't even move on the bed. I feel bad for you just thinking about this. As your nephew, I naturally hope that you can live a long life and be healthy. Our family's bad luck has caused you to suffer such a serious illness. I really hope you can get well. However, I feel sorry that you can't be mobile in the future. It's either you lie on the bed or someone has to push you in and out. Sometimes, I feel that I'm quite selfish for letting you lead such a tough life. Is that really a good thing for you? My aunt passed on early. Baokuo went to find his mother early as well. After that, it's my grandfather. Seeing that you have no kin left, I feel heartache. I know it's wrong to have such thoughts and they might be quite negative. However, seeing that you are living such a miserable and lonely life, I sometimes feel that it might be better for you to go. I'm willing to believe that there are souls after death, people would turn into ghosts, and there's a place called the Netherworld. Once there, you can reunite with your family. Perhaps such a life might be liberating for you and you will feel happier. In short, for a high-ranking general and chief who used to fight for the country to be lying on the bed now like an invalid, needing someone to take care of him, was a form of torture and humiliation. If living was so miserable, Zhu Chenqi might as well die earlier to fulfill himself and him. This was something good to both him and Zhu Chenqi. Not to mention that Zhu Chenqi caused him to feel tired by refusing to die. Didn't Zhu Chenqi feel that leading such a life was hopeless? Wang Yang described to Zhu Chenqi how wonderful life after death was because he hoped that the subconscious would affect Zhu Chenqi bit by bit. He hoped that Zhu Chenqi would quickly give up on the idea of living and just die. Didn't they say that the patient's mental state of mind had a great influence on his condition? Wasn't there a saying that one's heart is like dead ashes? There wasn't any kin by his side. If he was Zhu Chenqi, even if he wasn't sick, he would have thought of ways to commit suicide, let alone him being sick and refusing to cooperate with the doctor to treat his illness. Zhu Chenqi's death would benefit the living people. How good was that? In this way, it was considered worthwhile that Zhu Chenqi died since he could make his final contribution to the living. How perfect! However, Zhu Chenqi wasn't willing to die. Not yesterday, not today, maybe not tomorrow either. If he could influence Zhu Chenqi and make him give up the thought of living, based on Zhu Chenqi's current condition, Wang Yang dared to bet that once he had such a mindset, he would definitely die the next second. It was precisely because Wang Yang knew that Zhu Chenqi's condition had deteriorated to this stage that he didn't understand what kind of thoughts and things were supporting Zhu Chenqi until now, such that he was still breathing. Could it be that there was still something in this world that Zhu Chenqi couldn't bear to part with? Why didn't he know? It was fine not to know. He could find someone to check on things again. Also, he could wait for Zhu Chenqi to be asleep so that he could tell him in his dreams how his dead relatives below missed him. If Zhu Chenqi died earlier, he could reunite with those relatives earlier and his life would become happier. There was really nothing left in this world that Zhu Chenqi couldn't bear to part with. After nagging Zhu Chenqi, Wang Yang poured out the cold water and placed Zhu Chenqi's cold hands back into the blanket. "Uncle, listen to me. I won't harm you. I really can't bear to see you suffer anymore." After saying this, Wang Yang looked at the time and felt that he had stayed long enough. "Uncle, I shan't disturb you anymore. There are still a lot of things waiting for me to handle outside. I'll visit you again when I'm free next time." Chapter 2190, Not Enough Influence. Once Wang Yang was leaving, the person taking care of Zhu Chenqi naturally had to return to his job. "You have helped Chief Zhu turn over, right?" Although Zhu Chenqi wasn't paralyzed, as his body was weak and he had a lot of illnesses, he basically didn't have the ability to move on his own anymore. For the sake of Zhu Chenqi's health, someone had to help turn him over and massage his limbs so that certain parts of his body didn't fester and that he wouldn't experience muscle atrophy due to him being inactive for a long time. Wang Yang smiled. It has been so long. Of course I've already helped my uncle turn over. I've also massaged his limbs. Alright, it's running late. I should head back. Go do what you have to do. Alright. The person taking care of Zhu Chenqi smiled. It looks like you've learned well after seeing what I did. Your habit of helping Chief Zhu put his hands back into the blanket is exactly the same as mine. Great job. Wang Yang's face froze. It was true when he said he helped Zhu Chenqi turn over and massage his limbs in the past. At most, he didn't care much when doing this. Of course, if Zhu Chenqi was awake back then, Wang Yang would only be more serious than a professional nurse. Later, Zhu Chenqi woke up less often. Zhu Chenqi practically didn't wake up every time Wang Yang came over. As time passed, Wang Yang became lazy. He said that he had done all of this. In reality, Wang Yang only sat down and chatted with Zhu Chenqi, creating an illusion that he was particularly filial to him. He wouldn't be tired as well. That was the best of both worlds. It was alright if he was lazy this once. Anyway, Zhu Chenqi wouldn't die if he didn't turn over for a day. His body wouldn't have much reaction either. Furthermore, the nurse had to help Zhu Chenqi turn over and massage him the next day. It was as if he was compensating for the day before when he didn't turn him over and massage him. When Wang Yang first started doing this, he was more cautious. Even if he was just putting on a show, he would first turn over Zhu Chenqi's blanket and make a mess out of it. When the nurse returned, he would pretend to tuck the blanket in as if following up from the massage he did for Zhu Chenqi after turning him over. However, Wang Yang recently became bolder. He felt that he knew what to do and no longer needed to be that cautious. In the end, he made a blunder today. Thankfully, the other party believed in him and even took the initiative to help him find such a reasonable reason. Otherwise, Wang Yang's perfunctory behavior toward Zhu Chenqi would have been exposed. Wang Yang hurriedly smiled. I know a little after seeing you do it so many times. However, it's not exactly the same. Look, I didn't tuck in the blanket as tightly as you did. Thankfully, he had to take his uncle's hand out from the blanket when he helped him wipe his hands, causing a slight change to the blanket. Otherwise, he really wouldn't know how to continue this conversation. The nurse smiled and waved his hands. You're not any worse. All right, go and get busy. I'll help you take care of Chief Zhu. The deal between the nurse and Wang Yang was that not only did the nurse have to take good care of Zhu Chenqi, but he also must not let messy people get close to Zhu Chenqi and disturb him. Basically, if someone wanted to visit Zhu Chenqi, the nurse wouldn't agree to it unless Wang Yang had given permission. Of course, in order not to waste Zhu Chenqi's energy, the nurse had to tell Wang Yang in advance if Zhu Chenqi had something on or wanted to see someone. Wang Yang would then make the necessary arrangements. Who was categorized as a messy person? Wang Yang expressed that aside from him and the nurse, everyone else fell under that category. That way, Wang Yang allowed the nurse to somewhat monitor Zhu Chenqi. However, Wang Yang didn't tell him about anything that was too overboard or beyond his job scope. His behaviors were appropriate so that the nurse wouldn't be suspicious of him. One had to know that he didn't find this nurse. This nurse was sent by the boss. Wang Yang had no right to fire him and thus could only bribe him and maintain a good relationship with him appropriately. I'm really leaving this time around. Wang Yang hurriedly left before he let the cat out of the bag. He didn't want the nurse to spot any issues and ask him questions that he couldn't answer. After all, this nurse wasn't one of his men. There was still a need for him to remain guarded. After Wang Yang left, the nurse's face changed. He walked toward Zhu Chenqi. Chief Zhu, are you all right? The nurse knew a long time ago that Wang Yang was lying every time he said that he helped Zhu Chenqi turn over and massaged him. Wang Yang always thought that Zhu Chenqi wouldn't feel anything. The nurse wanted to laugh at Wang Yang for being a retard. He only said that Chief Zhu was asleep. He didn't say that he was a vegetative person and couldn't feel anything. Aside from a vegetative person, who wouldn't wake up in the face of such a huge commotion? However, Wang Yang felt that there wasn't anything wrong and kept lying to him. In the end, Wang Yang didn't manage to lie to anyone, let alone become a filial nephew. Zhu Chenqi opened his eyes. I'm fine. He just wishes for me to be dead but doesn't dare to do anything to me yet. There was only this much to the Wang family's courage. If not for his younger sister taking a fancy to Wang Yang's father a long time ago and insisted on marrying over, the Wang family wouldn't have been able to become relatives with the Zhu family. Although they eventually agreed to marry his sister over that year, Wang Yang's mother didn't know that before she got married, Zhu Chenqi had already discussed this with elder Zhu. She would take whatever that belonged to her over to her in-laws. How her life would be in the future would depend on her ability and clear-headedness to see if she could still hold on to her husband's heart. Of course, the Zhu family wouldn't let the Wang family's son bully their daughter. Other than that, there was a certain limit to the relationship between the Zhu family and the Wang family. Wang Yang's mother was the Zhu family's biological daughter. When she got married, the Zhu family had already made things clear to her. Furthermore, half of Wang Yang's blood wasn't from the Zhu family. Zhu Chenqi had criticized the Wang family a long time ago. They were sneaky but didn't have enough influence. They were quite clever but weren't tough. Unfortunately, Wang Yang was a normal person from the Wang family. His temper was exactly the same as the rest of the Wang families. How would Zhu Chenqi like such a nephew? Especially when he knew. Zhu Chenqi laughed coldly. This Wang Yang was quite bold. He had really inherited the Wang family's trick of deceiving the superiors and hiding from the subordinates. If he had known that the people surnamed Wang were like this, he'd rather break off all ties with his biological sister than to have any kind of relationship with the Wang family so that Wang Yang wouldn't have such illusions and wild wishes. Chief Zhu, let me give you a massage. After knowing that Wang Yang didn't do any of the routines, the nurse naturally didn't forget his job. He helped Zhu Chenqi turn over and even helped him out of bed to walk a few steps.